Before we get too into the nitty-gritty, I do want to just throw this disclaimer out there that I am not a medical professional, so I'm not here to diagnose or treat any condition. This is all educational, and anything that you think might be interacting with your own health should definitely be discussed with a medical provider. And I do want to lay some ground rules as we get started here tonight, because like Mel said, this conversation can feel really overwhelming. So here are my rules. Number one, this is all about progress over perfection. This is not about living 100% non-toxic life in this clean bubble. This is just about making informed choices. So the goal here is to take small steps to decrease overall exposure and to just be an informed consumer. And that alone is really important. Number two, when we're educated, we are empowered. So as you're learning tonight about different chemicals, this is not about feeling guilty about choices we might have made in the past. This is just about being educated so that we can be informed. And number three, we're here to seek solutions. So even if you're seeing all these doom and gloom effects, and we're talking about these like honestly really scary things that are around us sometimes, we are here to find solutions. So we're not going to get stuck in the negatives. We're going to educate ourselves and then push through. Please let me know in the chat what questions you have as we go. I don't want you to sit there feeling overwhelmed. I really want this to be a conversation so we can work together to find those solutions. So let's jump into why. Why do Mel and I care so much about this? Why should you care about this topic? So toxins refers to compounds that have a negative impact on our health. And different toxins impact different people in different ways. So it can be tricky to nail down. But on the screen are some of the common ways that toxins mess with human physiology and could be impacting you. The first one is our hormones. This is a really common side effect of toxins. Xenoestrogens, you may have heard that term before. These are compounds that either mimic our hormones in our body or they block the effects of hormones in our body. So they're like in disguise in a really similar form to our, let's say, estrogen. And they can actually steal the estrogen receptor sites. They can block and interact them. So that makes the body think there's a lot more of that hormone circulating than there is, when in fact, it's just a bunch of toxic imposters running around. So this impacts everything hormones impact, which is pretty much everything. So brain, gut, adrenals, thyroid, ovaries, digestion, everything. So that's a really big one. Liver overload is also a big concern. So our liver is in charge of detoxifying toxins, of course, but it also works to detoxify excess hormones and like metabolic waste and things like that. So if our system is backed up because we're exposed to dozens of toxins day in and day out, our liver's focused on that and can't keep up with the sort of natural like waste that our body produces that the liver needs to address. So that again can cause things like estrogen dominance and hormonal imbalance, digestive issues and sensitivities and things like that. That all also ties into the immune system. Toxins in general are going to create some inflammation. Inflammation is just your body's like alarm system. So this signals this sort of constant state of alarm. There's something going on here that's not right. The immune system can then start overreacting and attacking either harmless things like allergies, like overreacting to things, or can even start to attack our own tissues like we see in autoimmune conditions. Damaged enzymes in DNA is also a really important and is just now starting to be studied impact of toxins. But we know that certain toxins can actually change the structure of our cells and the structure of our DNA. And you can imagine that that creates quite the ripple effect. We're going to be talking tonight about something called toxic load. So all of those things together is going to add up to your own personal toxic load, which is the accumulation of your total exposure. Our bodies are really smart and they were designed to protect us from toxins that we come into contact with. Short-term exposure is not something that should throw us completely out of whack. Like we're designed to handle that. But toxic load often becomes too much for our bodies to contain. I like to think of this as like the drop in the bucket analogy. All it takes is one final drop for the bucket to finally overflow. right? And the tricky thing here is that everyone has different sized buckets. And the size of your bucket depends on your genetics and your health history and all kinds of things like that, your current diet and lifestyle. So we all have these sort of different thresholds, which is why some people like walk into a store and like the air freshener immediately starts to like trigger them and they can't, you know, they're really sensitive. Other people can handle it just fine. And that has to do with different sized buckets, different sized toxic loads that they're already dealing with. Like if your bucket's full, that one little drop, you're going to feel it. So the goal here is just to minimize overall toxic load. You're never going to live a totally toxic free life. Like we live in the 21st century and we don't want to live in a bubble. But the goal here is to keep our toxic load as low as we can so that our body can like process the toxins it does come into contact with. So that's why it's all about little steps and it's all about progress, not perfection. If you have any questions about either those toxic effects or toxic load, feel free to throw them in the chat as we move on. I'd love to address them as we go. Because we're going to do a really quick toxic load check-in. I'm about to show you a slide, but you have to promise me not to get overwhelmed. This is just like a check-in of some possible sources that might be contributing to your personal toxic load. This is a no judgment zone. This is just about education. And I want you to take a look at this screen and just sort of like check in your head, how many of these sources do you think you come into contact with daily or weekly? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to read through that. Again, no judgment, just a check-in. I'm curious if any of these either stand out to you as like, oh yeah, I know that's a problem, or maybe really surprise you, like you've never thought of as a possible source before. Maybe throw some things in the chat if anything stood out or really surprised you about that list. Yes, these are often really surprising. Now, and coffee itself is not the issue. The concern with non-organic coffee is just one of the most processed and like mass grown crops that we have, and is often like it's ranked one of the highest concentration of pesticides and herbicides that just stays with the product as it goes through. So that's definitely one. When you can do organic, that means that it was not grown with pesticides, and that will help too. Prescription meds is an interesting one because, I mean, many of us need prescription medications. And unfortunately, many of them have either in the fillers or in the ingredients themselves, some heavy metal contamination, or it's not the medication itself, it's the other things in the pill, like preservatives, things like that, that can be considered toxins there. Plastics are always a kind of constant battle, huh? Yes, great question about nail polish. And I will let you know, we're going to dive real deep into like, do this, not that. So we promise we'll do that in here just a minute. Make sure you keep these specific questions in mind as we go. You will also be getting a list of some vetted brands and products that you can start to swap out. And Mary, one of them is a nail polish brand that's committed to using no formaldehyde and no preservatives and things like that. So you'll see that on the list at the end that you can look into. We're going to keep moving. We'll dive into some of these just a little bit more. But first, I want to address like why is this happening? Because a lot of, I mean, we, especially in our country, would like to think that the government is looking out for us here and the industry is regulated, but the FDA and the government actually has almost no oversight over like the cleaning industry or personal care products, things like that. And one issue with regulating safety, you might have heard this before, that the poison is in the dose. Has anyone heard that? Like people say, sure, at large quantities, this is dangerous, but the amount in nail polish is tiny, so it's fine. And that's a common argument on behalf of industries that say their products are safe. The problem here is that we have very few studies that look at small doses over a long period of time. So sure, one pedicure once might not be an issue at all. But if we get a pedicure every week for our entire life, we don't know how those small doses accumulate and add up. And the fact of the matter is our bodies are really good at protecting us against short-term issues. But these sort of chronic, like drawn out small doses, that's exactly the kind of thing that can throw our system way out of whack. So these daily low level exposures are actually more concerning. Currently, I was shocked to learn that only about 30 ingredients total are banned from the government. So certain companies might choose not to use more than that, but the government itself only bans 30 ingredients. Compare that to Europe, where they have about 1,400 ingredients banned. It's clear that our country and our government is just not as involved in this as they should be. And they have not actually updated mass legislation on this industry in like 90 years now. And we've had a lot of new chemicals in the last 90 years. So it's really up to the consumer to educate themselves and to sort of self-regulate and filter through what we want to use. The last thing I want to throw at you here is about greenwashing. This refers to marketing of brands or products that say that they're clean, they're natural, they're non-toxic, but they still contain things that are a little problematic, because these words like natural, they're not regulated at all. So anyone can put that on their label and no one is like filtering through what that actually means. So some tips for this is, when in doubt, you need to look at the label itself, look at the ingredients, and you'll be getting a handout of some of the top ingredients I recommend you avoid. You can keep that handout handy and check it against the labels that you're looking at, and that can be a great way to filter. And then this might be obvious, but like be careful of really cute, trendy eco marketing. Just because it's green or has leaves on it, like doesn't mean it's natural, even though the companies have done a lot of research to trick our brains into thinking so. So we kind of have to be smarter than them and filter through for ourselves. Yeah, that's incredible that they were able to ban that in baby products. And I'm so glad this is becoming a more common conversation that people are speaking out about, and hopefully some local governments is getting involved. Karen, that's also a really great point. There's a lot of natural ingredients out there that I would not want anywhere near myself. Like arsenic is naturally occurring, and that doesn't mean I want it in my products. So just saying the word natural really doesn't mean much. Our focus should be on safe, not necessarily natural. So we talked a little bit about some of those sources. And we dove a little bit now into prescription medications, that they have some preservatives and even some heavy metals. I'm curious, before we keep moving to solutions, if there's any other of these sources that you were surprised by, or you want me to explain a little bit more about like why or what the risk is there. And again, the concern there is not with the rice itself or with the grain itself. It's that those, just like coffee, are really heavily sprayed, and they maintain a lot of those chemicals that they're sprayed with. There have been studies done on people who have been, like, shortly after eating non-organic or pesticide sprayed fruits or grains, and the pesticides are measurable in our blood. So it's clear that it stays in the grain and it then is like absorbed into our body that we have to metabolize. So there's some things that when possible, we want to focus on organic. One great resource, I'm not sure if some people might already use, is the EWG's Dirty Dozen list. Has anyone heard of that? Yeah, it's a really good one. I mean, I'm sure many of us can't afford 100% organic 100% of the time. And there's some things where it makes less of a difference than others. For example, a banana is not going to absorb the same amount of pesticides as rice. A banana has a natural like shield on it, right? So I'm not going to waste my money buying an organic banana. I would much rather invest in organic coffee or in organic berries or in organic rice because I know that those are going to soak up more. And the EWG updates that Dirty Dozen list every year based on the current trends in the market and the testing that they do. So that's, you can easily Google and find that Dirty Dozen list. It's a great resource. Another one I think is really tricky for people to work through is the water and tap water versus filtered versus purified. It's all very and run by very clever marketing people as well. But the fact of the matter is that our local like municipal water that, you know, they clean and they test, their levels of acceptable levels are, to be honest, much higher than a lot of groups like the EWG think they should be. And again, it has to do with the doses and the poison. So they say a little bit of arsenic in your water is fine because that little bit won't hurt you. But we don't know what that little bit does over years and years and years of daily ingestion. And so whenever possible, putting water filters on is going to make a big difference. So now that we've seen that list, let's talk about the labels for just a sec before I start to give you all of these solutions. Learning how to read the label, guys, is like the #1 empowering tool that you can walk away from this with, because otherwise we're really just kind of depending on the companies themselves to be like transparent in their marketing, and that doesn't always happen. So here's a list on the screen. You will be getting this in your email, like a handout of this to save, so you don't have to scribble all this down now. But here's a list of the top ingredients that I recommend we avoid. And I don't need to sort of walk you through every single one because there is a lot of commonalities between them. In general, many of them are linked to hormonal concerns, are linked to increased chances of cancer, particularly hormonally driven cancer, and are linked to increased allergies, skin sensitivities, asthma, those kinds of immune concerns. One that I do really want to deep dive though is fragrance. Fragrance is a really common one. Like I guarantee you, if you go look in your bathroom right now, you will be able to find 5 products right away that have fragrance or parfum. Sometimes it's called parfum in them. And this is one for me that's an immediate pass. Fragrance is considered a proprietary ingredient. So companies actually don't have to disclose what's in their fragrance, and they can put just about anything under fragrance and keep it a secret. And independent testing has been done of products with fragrance, and they found a lot of concerning things in fragrance, including phthalates, the second ingredient here, which is linked to increased asthma and allergies, male reproductive issues, hormonal concerns, and you just don't know what's in the fragrance. So the biggest issue is it's like a big old unknown. So that's one for sure to avoid whenever possible. Any others you're surprised by or you want me to explain a little more before we move on? Great, we'll keep trucking. And if any questions come up as we talk, you just throw them in. So obviously, the best way to avoid toxins is just to not come in contact with them. But that's pretty much impossible in our current day and lifestyle. And so helping our bodies deal with the toxins is really important. And detox is a real hot topic right now. So let's just kind of get some facts straight here. #1, your body does detox all the time. It knows how to detox on its own. You don't have to like do anything specific. We detox when we breathe, when we exhale, when we sweat, when we poop, like it's all our detox system. But our diets and lifestyle are putting a strain on that detox system because there's so much to detox all the time. Between our own natural hormones we have to detox, our metabolic byproducts, and then everything we come into contact with, and it just is a lot. So anything we can do to support those pathways is really helpful. So number one, prevention is always best. So lighten the load, lighten that toxic load, empty the bucket a little. That's really going to help. The same organ deals with like alcohol, environmental toxins, pesticides, prescription medicine. It like deals with all of it. So anything we can do to lighten the load is great. Liver support is really important. We all know the liver is like our primary detox machine. So plenty of water, preferably filtered water. Cruciferous vegetables are really supportive for our detox pathways. So that's like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, things like that. Exercise, any sort of sweat or movement is always going to help our lymphatic system and help get these things moving. And then there are some herbs that have been shown to really support these detox pathways. You can buy these herbs in tea form, and drinking these as a tea, they're really lovely. They're like light and earthy tasting, and it's just really easy to add into your routine, like kind of an easy win, you can say. So nettle leaf, dandelion, milk thistle are all really great for the liver. Dry brushing is a really interesting way to help detox. Has anyone heard of dry brushing or tried it before? Yeah, are you a fan, Mel? Yeah, once you get it, it's like a little self-massage. It's really nice. It's an ancient Ayurvedic practice from India, and you basically brush your skin while it's dry with a sort of soft bristled brush, and this stimulates your blood flow, your lymphatic system. It removes dead skin cells from your skin layer, and your skin actually detoxes quite a bit. Like you detox things through your skin, and so that helps too. And then my last little plug here is if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So don't get sucked in by the 3-day juice cleanse, like full detox. Like the best thing to do is just these gentle daily practices to support your natural system. Some of those quick fixes probably do more strain on the body than they end up helping. Yes, migraines is a really common side effect from that sort of toxic load, particularly fragrances, and that could also have to do with the phthalates found in those fragrances. That's a really great question, Mary. In general, the system's going to work pretty much the same. Like your liver is still functioning pretty much the same, your gallbladder, your skin should all help. The biggest difference after menopause is that your hormonal levels are lower, but it really shouldn't impact your detox system too much. I would say the biggest thing to watch out for then is that by sort of middle age, you will have had a lifetime of accumulation. Your detox system might be a little bit sluggish. That's often the point in your life where you really have to support your detox system, not because of the menopause, but more because of the couple decades before where we just have to do a little bit of healing. And that's the stuff on the screen will be great for that. Any other detox questions? I know this is a really hot topic right now. Great. Well, let's get into some solutions. I hope no one's feeling too doomsday-y yet, because there is truly a lot in our control and a lot we can do. So here's my list of, these are just the sort of like simple solutions, simple swaps. We will get into a little bit more detail here, but this is just a list to keep in your brain that you can start to swap out pretty easily. Number one, we talked about organic when you can. And there are certain things like that dirty dozen list that are going to be more important to buy organic than others. Filtering your water is a really impactful way. We drink water every day. So reverse osmosis filters are considered to be some of the most effective, especially for things like heavy metals. Carbon filters like that are in sort of like the Brita filters, that's a type of carbon filter. Those are also effective, not quite as effective as reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis generally tends to be an investment in like a system in your house. So that might not be doable for everyone. Carbon filters will do just fine. Low VOC paint. This is this one, the next time you're looking at a painting project, there's a lot of low VOC. VOC stands for volatile organic compounds. And they have formulated paint now with less toxic compounds in them that honestly look and work just exactly the same. So that's a real easy switch that's like no harm done. When you're buying furniture, many people don't realize their furniture itself actually offsets a lot of gases and toxins from the production process. So the things like the glue and the preservatives, the flame retardant chemicals, all these things they put in the furniture sits for years and decades and actually like releases into our homes and environment. Green Guard is a certification that a furniture can go through that certifies that it was produced with minimal chemicals, and the offshooting of gases is also supposed to be less. You can literally just like Google Green Guard certified bed frame and you'll come up with a bunch. You'll also notice even at like bigger furniture stores, there's a little green label on some of them that'll say Green Guard certified. Our air in our home is going to be really important to circulate, partially because of those paint fumes, that offshoot from our walls, the furniture, and then also all of the things we're using, our cleaning supplies and all of that. So as much as we can, especially in this warmer weather, keeping our windows open and making sure we have an in-home air filter that we change when we're supposed to is going to also help a lot. Yes, air purifiers can be helpful. I have done more research on air filters, so I can't speak to specific types of purifiers or how they work differently from filters. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of reading into that, but that's a really great question. Does anyone else know anything about air purifiers specifically? Great, that's a great question, Robin. I'll look into that for you. Ruby, I will pop back to your question in 1 sec, I promise. Let me finish this list real quick. Cookware. So when we cook, the heat is always breaking down both the enzymes in the food and the compounds in our cookware. It's just a natural byproduct of cooking with heat. So it's going to be really important that we use cookware that's stable and that's not leaching chemicals into our food. And unfortunately, most non-stick cookware, particularly Teflon, is going to be just kind of constantly leaching chemicals in our food. Teflon has now been conclusively linked to different types of cancers and should be avoided at all costs. I know it's real nice to have that non-stick, but I found ceramic cookware to also be really effective for non-sticking. And cast iron is just like great for certain types of food. Your food will even turn out better than it would have in Teflon. Another great option that I didn't list here is stainless steel. Mary, you read my mind. Stainless steel is a great option. Just make sure that it's high quality. They will rank it like food quality stainless steel. Some less ethical companies will put a sort of stainless steel coating on a not steel object and call it stainless steel. So you want to just make sure you do a little digging, make sure it says food grade and 100% stainless steel to make sure that it won't break down on you. And then we're going to talk a lot about these little personal care cleaning, these daily products. My biggest tip for this to not feel overwhelmed is just to replace them as they run out. So even everything we're talking about tonight, you can take some notes on like the things you want to start replacing. But unless you're real motivated to do so, I really recommend that you just keep that list handy. And as you run out of your shampoo or your deodorant or your laundry soap, that you start looking for safer options. And then the last tip I have is to prioritize the items that you're exposed to daily that are highest concentration in toxins. And I'm going to show you in a second how to find that out and how to figure out your highest concentration items. Ruby, back to your question about detox and fasting. Fasting is a real complicated topic that I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer to, because to be honest, it really depends on your age, your metabolic health, your current hormonal level, your health goals, like all of these different things that play into it. For a lot of people, from their like base point, fasting is not going to help and can even hurt unless they get everything. And once you are sort of in a really healthy baseline, occasional fasting can really can be impactful and a helpful tool. But if you still have some other balancing work to do and you're trying to fast first, that can cause some issues. So if you want to dig in deeper to that, that's something I would highly recommend you work one-on-one with someone with, like a nutrition professional, because that can be complicated. That's a great question, Allie. I don't know. Enameled cast iron, I'm not sure. I'll add that to my list to look up. Air purifiers and enameled cast iron, unless someone else knows and wants to share their wisdom. Awesome. So let's get into some solutions, some action. I want to empower you with a couple of resources because, as you've just seen, I don't have all the answers. No one person has all the answers, and you're not going to walk away with all the answers tonight. But there are brilliant people and corporations out there trying to put together resources for us to make this more doable. So these are three that I really love. The first we're actually going to use in just a second altogether. That's the EWG Skin Deep database. EWG is the Environmental Working Group, and they are a nonprofit like research group that does a lot of work on the environmental impact and health impact of different products and different chemicals that we use every day. So they're an incredible research, and they have an app, the Healthy Living app, and a website that you can enter products into, and they will give you great information, and I'll show you how that works here in just a sec. They also have a tap water database where you can enter your zip code, and the EWG will give you a rating of the local water in your area. And they will share with you any concerns that they have from the water tested and give you recommendations about filters to use. Or if you live somewhere with really excellent tap water, that may not be necessary for you. That does happen. But that's a great place to just find out what's in your water. And then lastly, if you're like me and you love nerding out about the specifics of how all this works, Green Med Info is a website that has compiled a lot of different articles, research briefs. You can just type in, I can go there after this and type in air purifiers and probably get 10 articles that are peer reviewed, that are credible, that you're not just lost in the Google scape of information, but you can go straight to Green Med Info, and I found them to be a really helpful place as well. So we're going to try out this Skin Deep database, and this is going to be our first giveaway. So we are all going to try this together. I will demonstrate first how it works, and then you will get a chance to use it yourself. So the Skin Deep database, you can find at ewg.org/skindeep. It looks like this when you get there. And all you need to do is type in either a product that you currently use or a brand that you currently use, or if you want to research a specific ingredient, they do have information on that too. But we're going to focus on products. So let's say I currently use the Dove Beauty Cream Bar. This is like a cleansing bar that is quite common. The EWG, once you search that, will give you a rating from best to worst, and it's ranked 1 through 10. So 10 is considered the most toxic, 1 or 0 is considered the least toxic. So we can see the Dove Beauty Bar is ranked a 5. And when you scroll down, it actually breaks down why, which I really appreciate. So it'll tell you the cancer concerns for this beauty bar are actually pretty low. There are not many ingredients in here that are linked to cancer at this time. There are more ingredients linked to hormonal issues and reproductive toxicity, as well as allergies and immunotoxicity. So this could be autoimmune conditions, gut issues, things like that. When you scroll down, it'll actually break down each ingredient for you and tell you the rating for the ingredients as well. So you can see exactly what's going into it. And I can see right off the bat, this beauty bar has that fragrance that I mentioned in it. And so for me personally, this would be a no-go. I'd really try to avoid that fragrance because we just don't know. And you can see fragrance on the EWG, they actually rank an 8. So we're going to take a couple minutes to enter the giveaway. All you have to do is look up an item, a product that you currently use, and send the item and its rating in the chat. No judgments. This is a judgment-free zone. But send in what it is. This is all about education. You can search it on your own and send it into the chat. The EWG tends to have things on a lot of personal products like deodorant, cleansers, moisturizers, makeup, hair products can be in there. And then they do have some research and data on cleaning products as well, but sometimes they have less than these like personal products. Tinted SPF rated a 4.
This could be really be addictive.
It really is. Once you start, it's a rabbit hole.
God.
Yep. Okay, so pro tip on that front. I recommend it if you start to look up multiple things, keep a little list wherever you grabbed a notepad. This is how you're going to prioritize most toxic to start replacing versus things that you can just phase out or keep using for now. So personally, if I use the Dove Beauty Bar and I saw it was rated a 5, that's too high for my personal comfort level. I personally try to stick with the greens like 1s and 2s. And so this is something I would put towards the top of my swap out list. If I look up something else and it's a 2, I'm going to be way less worried about spending money to switch that out right now because that's, you know, it's there. All right, Tracy. Isn't that interesting? Because Native markets itself as a very like natural brand, and it's still in that yellow zone. If anyone needs any help navigating the site or it's not working for you, you can also send your product in the chat and I can look it up for you on the screen. We'll take a couple more minutes for this giveaway. Sorry to ruin your soap, Ruby, but better to know, right?
That is so true.
Yeah. Ruby, did it say why? Like what was in it that caused it to be so high?
Yeah, let me tell you. It is the allergies.
Yeah.
Allergies, yeah, very high.
Debbie, do you want me to look that one up for you? Yep.
Now I know why my asthma flares up.
So I just did the Dr. Bronner's bar, peppermint bar soap, and it was a 1.
Good to know. Love that. Okay, is it this liquid minerals, Debbie? Does that look right? No. Is it the pure pressed? Okay. Looks like you are sitting at a 2. Yep. So all of these are pretty low for that foundation. No fragrance in that one. Okay. If there's anyone that wants to enter that's still looking, I want to give you about like 30 more seconds, or just send in the chat like, wait, I need more time, and I'll give you a little more time if you're still navigating the site. Robin, would you like me to look that one up for you? right, Robin, that one is sitting at a 4. Looks like if I scroll down, that one does have fragrance in it, like we talked about before. I'm telling you guys, it's everywhere. The stinking fragrance is everywhere. And so that's a bit of an unknown that the EWG and I aren't too crazy about. And so I can't remember now who was asking about pedicures. Mary was asking about pedicures. This is a place where you can select also by category. You can click on nails and it'll actually give you some recommendations on like, okay, if I want to bring my own nail polish in to have my pedicure done, it gives you some brands that you can look at that are a 1 or that are a 0, and you can search by category as well. Their sort of ultimate rating they call verified, which is this little 0 over here. And you can always search by verified is like their highly recommended 0. Yeah, let's look up Olay. This wrinkle serum here, does that look right, Mary? Looks like the fragrance-free one, the wrinkle serum sitting at a 2. There's also a fragrance-free cream moisturizer. I'm not sure which one you're using. That's at a 4. Interesting. Nice. Okay, yeah. Do you guys see how addicting this is? Okay, I'm going to enter our names into our giveaway. If you said something in the chat, I want you to check the screen right now and make sure that your name is up there. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. I tried to catch you as you answered. But if not, either unmute or send an SOS in the chat. It is, Tracy. And isn't it crazy how few people are aware that they should even look at it? Oh, thank you, Mary. I knew I'd miss someone. Okay. Great, Claire, I gotcha. All right, so we are going to do 2 rounds of the Wheel of Names, and these 2 people will win. Mel, what is this? What are they winning here? We got some soap.
We're going to do Bronner's Peppermint Bar Soap, which is lovely in the summer to bathe with because it's really cooling. And then we are going to do the Castile All-Purpose Soap with the almond.
Lovely. Okay, so this first winner is going to be Debbie. Yeah, Debbie. All right, winner number 2 coming at ya. Oh, so close. All right, Debbie and Robin, you'll get a little head start on some of these cleaner swaps. These Dr. Browners are so great. I'm so glad that we got some donated because they are some of my favorite products. Great. Okay, so you are now armed, guys, with a huge tool. This EWG site and the app you can put on your phone and scan even in a store. So if you're in a store trying to purchase something, you can scan the barcode and it'll pop up on the app. It's really great. So keep this tool handy, use it often. It's this kind of information I think is really, really empowering. So for our second giveaway, we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to do a icky ingredient scavenger hunt. So in order to do this well, you might have to, if you're able to easily it might be easier to like pick up your computer or phone and go into either your bathroom or somewhere where you have a lot of cleaning supplies. If you don't want to move, that's totally fine. Just have a list kind of ready in your head and you'll be Googling ingredients of some stuff that you use. So the goal here is that you will be able to look at the label of some of your products. So either in person, or you can just search like Dove Cream Bar ingredients and the label should pop up. So it'll be easier in your own bathroom where you can kind of just pull at your stuff. So the way this will work is I will give you an ingredient up on the screen. Your goal is to try to find a product in your home that contains that ingredient. There are some hints on the screen, so it'll say often found in shampoo, and you can check your shampoo, and you'll have a couple of minutes for each item to try to find it. If you're someone that already uses a lot of non-toxic products, maybe you don't have a lot of stuff with these products, or maybe you're like a minimalist and you just don't have a lot of stuff, that's totally fine. You can still play. You can use Google and just try to find your own example, even if it's not something that you use personally. You can still submit a different example based on like Google ingredient lists. Any questions about how that part goes? And then I'll tell you how you're going to win. Great. So as we play, for each ingredient, I'm going to be keeping a list of anyone who throws their product in the chat. So for example, I say fragrance on the screen, and at the end of a couple minutes, anyone that sent in a product with fragrance in it, I'll have a list that'll go into our wheel of names. If you enter in multiple rounds, so let's say you find fragrance and you find the next one, like SLS that we'll see, then you're going to be entered in the wheel of names twice. So the more you find, the more you'll be entered. Any questions before we jump in? It's not that high stakes, but you can tell I love a good competition. So, all right, let's do it. We are going to start with the big one, fragrance. This should also be an easy win because it's in so many things. Found in literally everything. Not literally, figuratively everything. If you don't know where to start, I would recommend you look at perfume, lotion, candles, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, any of those items. All right, I got Ruby, I got Karen. Shampoo is a really, really common one. If you don't know what to do, you can Google your shampoo. I believe it, Allie. Oh, hand sanitizer. I bet it's in all the hand sanitizers. Okay, you got about 45 seconds left on our friend fragrance. Yeah, so many soaps. Okay, Claire, I got you. All right, last call on fragrance products. You're about to get a new ingredient. All right. Oh, dish detergent. Good one, Claire. Getting creative already. I like it. Okay. Let's do round two. Parabens is a good one. And this one can be tricky because there's different forms. So if it ends in the word paraben, it's considered a paraben. So it could be methyl paraben, isobutyl paraben, propylparaben. There's even a couple others, but those are the most common. If you see it ends in a paraben of some kind, it's in there. This is a preservative, so it's found in a lot of shampoos, face cleansers, body washes, foundation, makeup, stuff like that. Was there a question that I just talked over?
What about sound? Went down.
Great.
What happened?
Ruby, you found a product with multiple things in it. Okay. We've got a couple minutes to search for our parabens. If you feel stuck, I would start with these down here, the cleansers, shampoos, body lotion, it's a big one. All right, Allie, gotcha. Those shampoos, man. Ooh, Claire, keep that Bath and Body Works lotion handy because I think that'll help you on a few of these rounds. Karen, gotcha. All right, you have about a minute and a half left on parabens.
What's her name?
About 20 seconds. Claire, I'm curious if the Bath and Body Works hand soaps have them in there too. I know those hand soaps are real popular. My mother-in-law still gives them to me every Christmas, no matter what I say. All right, so we found some parabens. We're gonna do a couple more rounds. This next one is a biggie too. So these are polyethylene glycol, but they on labels are almost always called PEG. So sometimes you'll see something PEG or PEG something, but if you see a capital PEG, that's the type of compound here. They're in a lot of makeup, so I would start there. They're like a thickener and a softener, and they're often contaminated with these byproducts of ethylene oxide that are known carcinogens, so we don't want those around. These I would start with makeup creams. Sunscreen is a really big one. So if you Google your brand of sunscreen that you use, you might luck out there. Or check that shampoo again, Allie, you never know. Ooh, PEGs are stumping us. So for example, I just peeked at Banana Boat sunscreen and I can see here in the ingredients PEG 8. So that would be one that I personally would want to avoid. Good find, Allie. Like multiple forms. Yummy. All right. I'm getting a good list for this giveaway, Mel. It's going to be a good one. We're going to do one more round of our scavenger hunt. Let's do my friend phthalates. We're going to do phthalates here. So phthalates look like this. You might see DBP, DEHP, DEP. Those are the most commons. These are the ones I mentioned that sometimes hide in fragrance. So I'm going to give you a 2-for-1. If you have a new product that you didn't enter before that also has fragrance, it probably has phthalates in it, and I will accept it. So here's your 2-for-1. A new fragrance product or any product with these DB, DEHP, those things on the screen. You have 2 minutes to add an entry for phthalates. Karen, I got your entry for your sunscreen. Ooh, air freshener. Good one, Claire. Okay, Allie, got your conditioner. You got about a minute left on phthalates, or find a new sneaky fragrance because that likely has phthalates hidden in it.
And we have 2 giveaways for this, and we're giving a full size pump of lemongrass lime organic hand soap, the peppermint bar, and a full size anise toothpaste.
All right, last call for phthalates and fragrance. All righty, speak now or forever hold your toxins. I am going to add in this list into our wheel of names. And start us for giveaway number 1. Allie, nice. Okay. Is it gonna be for number 2?
Oh, I'm on there one. Oh, and still can't win. It's bad.
Yay to Ruby and Allie and Debbie and Robin. Getting that little head start. If you didn't win and you're bummed, hang tight because there's still one more opportunity for you to get a little something something. Before I jump into explaining our last giveaway and starting to wrap things up, I would love to give just a couple minutes for outstanding questions. I know we talked about a lot, and this is a big topic. So if there's anything that still feels stressful or confusing that you want some advice on, now is the time.
Will you be sending any notes our way?
I sure will. In your follow-up email, you're going to get a couple things. You'll get a handout of the top ingredients to avoid, so that whole list. And you're also going to get a sheet of my favorite brands and products that you can start to swap that I've found work really well or that my clients have loved. So if you don't know where to start, you can start with that list. I'm also happy to share these slides with you if that would be helpful. You can just shoot me an email. You'll get my email in that follow-up email too. And if you send me an email and just say, I was at the workshop, I'd be happy to send the slides to you to keep as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Of course. I know this is a lot to absorb. Any other questions? Yeah, that's a great question, Ruby. I think water filters come down a lot to your budget, to be honest. I mentioned before that reverse osmosis is the most effective. And the EWG, I'm going to go back to their site. The one of the other tools that I had listed for you was EWG/tap water. So this is where you can search for your own tap water and see how it is. And they have a lot of different, so here's a water filter guide that I think would be a really great place to start. So they rank it from least expensive, reviews the most contaminants. You can sort through different options and start there. So I'll put this link in the chat as well. ewg.org/tap water. Yes, Mary, I also use Beauty Counter and really love it. I found sometimes natural products, don't work quite as well as we're used to, and I agree with you. You'll see a whole list of some different brands like Beauty Counter and others that I recommend on that handout you'll get. Any other brands you guys have found that you've really loved that are safer or non-toxic that you'd like to recommend?
I could just share that our house, everything from the toilets to the showers to the faucets, we made the decision to do the entire home. And I just share that because it is an investment and it can be really overwhelming. So my biggest suggestion is if you are looking at this as something as a home improvement, because it really is a home improvement, is to take your time, schedule lots of demos with companies, and don't rush it, because it is a lot to absorb, and then you'll finally figure out what really what you're really looking for in compared to what your local water system is like.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned it's not just the water you drink, it's also the water that we bathe with and shower with and wash our hands with. It all gets absorbed into our skin.
Every time
There's a lot of companies, there's a lot of companies that'll come out and do testing and demos for you that can be really helpful. They also love to use scare tactics and get you to freak out about your water. So I encourage you to do your research and like Mel said, take your time, because there's some great options out there.
And there's really good filters. One thing that really stressed me out was about hot showers and hot baths. And there's some really good filter options just for, you know, because all these things do cost. So you can find little ways to improve by adding a filter into your bathroom, maybe the main bathroom. But just, yeah, there's a lot of fear tactics and there's a lot of information, and you just have to take your time and make an Excel sheet and ask lots of questions and then talk to people that have systems and just take it really easy.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're not ready to do the whole house right now, that's something you put on your later list, and you start with carbon filters like these listed here. You can read about them on this website I sent in the chat, the EWG, and get some brand explanations. Oh my gosh, Robin, I didn't mention saunas, but they're amazing. Highly recommend if you have access to one. You're 100% correct that they are very detoxifying. Yeah, and very relaxing. But they really do help to stimulate that detox system. We sweat it out through our skin. So as long as our skin is working properly, that can be really wonderful. Love this. Well, in our last couple of minutes, I do want to explain our next giveaway, which is, you're going to have some time to do this one, so don't stress. But here's how it's going to work. You are being charged tonight with a clean up challenge. So you're going to go out into your life, and in this email, you'll be getting, I believe tomorrow. Is that right, Mel? Will they get the follow-up email tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, great. So look in your inboxes tomorrow, and you will see a little checklist like you see on the screen with 10 different tasks or challenge actions to start making some of these changes. To enter to win a cleaning, like a safer cleaning bundle, so you're going to get multiple goodies from Dr. Bronner's, all you need to do is complete 2 things from this list and email in a picture of either, you can do your list if you want to like check things off, or email us a picture of the new products that you swapped out. And if you email that in by Sunday, you will be entered to win. One person will win this bundle. So that's your challenge. Go ahead, Mel.
And just quickly, I want to do a roll call because I want to make this for the people that attended today. So I want to do a roll call to make sure that I have your email. But first, I can show you, this is quite the bundle. This is a good chunk of money. You're going to get 2 of the full-size Castile soaps, lavender and rose. You're going to get the full-size hand soap, antibacterial. You're going to get the peppermint soap, and you're going to get the toothpaste. So that's a really good starter kit. Now, I'm going to quickly say the name and the email that I have on file. And if you could, let's see, how can we do this and make this make sense? Let's see. Well, I'll just do one at a time. You can tell me if I've got everybody. So I have Karen Ham with kjham@gmail.com. Is that right, Karen?
Yeah, it's home, but that's okay. Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Southern, so I will butcher every name. I apologize.
That's okay.
I have Debbie Lentz at debbielentz50@gmail.com. Is that right? Debbie? Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe she's not listening right now. All right. I have Dominique Callahan, dominique.callahan239@gmail.com. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I have Marge Rupel, gmail.com. I'm just going to go through, and if you're not on, then you can tell me. I've got Tracy Tcoates at yahoo.com. I've got robin.nelson@hotmail.com. I've got Mary Harris, MK Harris. I'm sorry.
I'm here.
Who?
I'm here. It's Mary Harris. I'm here.
You. And then Ruby, I've got you. Ali Chen, I've got you, alichen@gmail.com. And I've got Hello Harper, wilder194@aol.com. Is that correct? Debbie?
Yes, that's it. That's
Perfect.
fine.
Miss anybody? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. All right, I've got my list. Oh, Debbie, it's okay. It's okay. I've got your email and your name, and it's correct. GS. Okay, GS. Okay, thank you, GS. I appreciate that. I'll add you on right now. Perfect. So you're going to get the copy of this challenge. It's going to be open just to the people that attended. So good luck.
Yeah, one person will get quite the little bundle. So y'all, we are gonna start wrapping up. You'll get some information in your follow-up email of how to keep in touch with me as well. I work one-on-one with clients on nutrition, on detoxing your lifestyle, on any of these things. So if you want more one-on-one help, I would absolutely love to work with you. And there's also an option to sign up for my email newsletter where you'll get lots of sort of tangible information like this on a weekly basis, and keep caught up with other workshops that I'm doing. I would really love to keep in touch. So check that email out tomorrow. Mel, anything else you want to add before we close out?
No, just good luck, and we'll announce the winner on Monday. You'll be sent an email, and we'll share it on our Instagram and our Facebook. And that will be one email just for the attendees tonight. And then you're going to get a separate email that's set up with, that goes to everybody that signed up. So if somebody missed class today, so you're going to actually receive 2 emails. And, oh, thank you, Allie. And just, we run on donations. So if you found this program to be helpful, if you have the means to support, please do so. 100% of the funds go right back into programming. If you don't have the ability to, make sure you share us, make sure you tell your neighbors. And you can also sign up for Amazon Smile and choose Banyan as your nonprofit. And this way, a percentage of a lot of your sales will go into a fund of your nonprofit of choice. And at the end of the year, Amazon will pay out that money. And that's a really great way to support us. Outside of that, look for all the upcoming events. We really appreciate you taking time, and we look forward to hearing your successes as you clean your home up. And thank you, Martina. You're always a wealth of knowledge and an absolute joy. And I love that you love a good raffle.
Thank you guys so much. It was so great to connect with you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
It was great. Thanks.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. All right.
I had no idea you were on Amazon Smile. I just updated my profile. That's exciting.
Amazon Smile. All right, so I've got their addresses. I saved the chat, and I will work on that probably tomorrow. And then I'm going to go to dinner now, and then when I get back, I'll probably send me, it's in the file, the contest thing. Is that what you just said?
File. Do you want it straight to your inbox? I can do that too.
Oh, that'd be lovely. That'd be one less step for when I get back. And I will, I'll get that email sent out to, and I really just I want everybody to clean their home, but I wanted to give it to the opportunity to the people that showed up tonight, because it's a good chunk of money that will be donated on these products, and I want it to be to somebody that was here and engaged. So I will get that sent out, and then I will let you know. Are they emailing you or are they emailing me? How's it going for the contest?
I have it for info@banyanwomen.org. Is that what
Perfect.
you want?
That's fine. I will keep an eye on that, and I'll update you and let you know who won.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Take some deep breaths. I hope your night gets better.
I'm gonna have a margarita in just a minute, so I'll be fine. All right. Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.